Every time you water your garden, watch where the water actually goes. Some of it soaks in. Some of it runs sideways across the surface and collects in low spots. Some of it drains straight down past the root zone before your plants can use it. And on a hot afternoon, a meaningful portion of it evaporates before it even reaches the first inch of soil. Come back an hour later, and that top layer is already dry and crusted. So you water again the next morning, and the morning after that. And at some point during the hottest stretch of summer, despite everything you were doing, the plants start struggling anyway. This is not a failure of effort, it is a limitation of the system. Watering from the top down means you are constantly working against evaporation, runoff, and gravity all at once. 500 years ago, farmers in central Mexico solved this problem in a way that has not been improved upon since. They did not dig deeper wells. They did not engineer complex irrigation channels. They built their gardens directly on top of the water supply and let the moisture rise up to meet the roots instead of pouring it down from above. Those gardens fed a city of 200,000 people. They produced reliable harvests through dry seasons that would have collapsed any conventional field. And the core principle behind them can be applied in a standard raised bed in your backyard. Picture a wide, shallow lake. The lake bottom is soft mud, rich with decomposed organic material that has been building up for centuries. The Aztecs began by driving long wooden stakes into that mud, forming the outline of a narrow rectangular plot. Between the stakes, they wove fences from willow branches and water reeds, creating a contained enclosure just above the lake floor. Then came the work of filling it. They dredged nutrient-dense muck from the lake bottom and layered it inside the enclosure. They added aquatic weeds, decomposed corn stalks, and organic debris from the water's edge. They built these beds up in layers until the growing surface sat just a few inches above the waterline. Along the outer edges of each bed, they planted a tree called the ahueyote, a water willow native to the region. The roots of these trees grew straight down through the bed and into the lake floor beneath, anchoring the entire structure in place. Between every bed, they left a narrow canal just wide enough for a wooden flat-bottomed boat to pass through. The result was a network of long, productive garden strips separated by waterways, covering thousands of acres across the lake valley. These were called chinampas, and because water surrounded every bed on all sides and sat just beneath the growing surface, the soil never dried out. Moisture moved upward continuously through the organic material, keeping the root zone at a steady, consistent level of moisture regardless of what the weather was doing above. Aztec farmers working this system achieved up to 7 harvests per year from the same plot of land. They grew maize, beans, squash, tomatoes, and chili peppers in continuous rotation. Historians estimate that Chinampas supplied roughly 2/3 of the food consumed by the Aztec capital. In 2018, the United Nations designated the surviving Chinampa system as a globally important agricultural heritage site. The science behind why it worked so well is straightforward, and understanding it is what allows you to replicate it. We tend to think of water as something that only moves downward. Gravity pulls it through the soil and eventually out of reach. But water also moves laterally and upward through a process called capillary action. Take a dry paper towel and dip just the corner into a glass of water. The moisture climbs upward into the dry fibers above the waterline without any help from gravity. The same thing happens in soil. Water molecules are attracted to the surfaces of soil particles and to each other. In a soil with the right texture and organic content, that attraction is strong enough to pull moisture upward through the profile, sometimes 12 inches or more. The Chinampa system used this principle deliberately. By keeping a water source just beneath the growing medium, the Aztecs ensured that moisture was always moving upward toward the roots. The plants did not wait for rain or for a gardener to arrive with water. They drew what they needed from a constant supply below. The surface of the bed could appear dry, while the root zone 6 inches down remained consistently moist. That surface dryness also suppressed weed germination, which was an added benefit. For your backyard version, the soil mix is what determines how well this works. A blend of finished compost and coconut coir creates a growing medium with the right pore structure for strong upward movement. Pure sand moves water too quickly and cannot sustain the climb. Heavy clay moves it too slowly. The compost and coir combination gives you a material that wicks reliably and holds enough moisture to keep the root zones supplied between refills. You do not need a lake to make this work. You need a watertight container with a water reservoir built into the bottom layer, separated from the soil above by a permeable barrier. Start with your container. A wooden raised bed lined with heavy-duty pond liner works well. So does a galvanized metal stock tank or a large food-grade plastic container. What matters is that the bottom and sides hold water without leaking. A bed 4 feet wide and 2 feet deep gives you good working proportions for a backyard setup. Fill the bottom 6 to 8 inches with a coarse, porous material. Scoria, which is a lightweight volcanic rock, is an excellent choice because the rock itself holds moisture inside its pores while still allowing water to move through the layer freely. Coarse gravel works as well. This layer is your reservoir. In one corner of the bed, install a vertical length of PVC pipe that runs from the top edge of the bed down to the bottom of the reservoir layer. This is your fill point. You will add all water through this pipe going forward, never from the top surface. You also need an overflow drain. Drill a hole through the side of the bed and through the liner at the exact point where the reservoir layer meets the soil layer above it. This drain prevents the reservoir from overfilling during heavy rain and keeps the root zone from sitting in standing water. Cover the overflow opening with a small piece of fine mesh to keep insects out. Over the top of the reservoir layer, lay a sheet of permeable landscape fabric and tuck it firmly up the inside walls of the bed on all sides. This barrier keeps soil from migrating down into the gravel and clogging the reservoir over time. Fill the remainder of the bed with your soil mix. 1 part finished compost, 1 part coconut coir, and 1 part coarse sand gives you a blend that wicks reliably and drains well enough to keep roots healthy. Once the bed is filled, water it once from the top surface to establish the initial moisture connection between the soil and the reservoir below. After that, all water goes in through the fill pipe. Once the capillary connection is established, the bed manages itself to a significant degree. Check the reservoir level every week or two by dropping a wooden dowel down the fill pipe and reading where the water line sits. Refill through the pipe when the level drops low. Most gardeners find they are refilling once every 2 to 3 weeks during summer, compared to daily surface watering in a conventional bed. One maintenance task to stay on top of is salt accumulation. Because water moves upward and evaporates at the surface, minerals from your water supply can gradually build up as a white crust on top of the soil. Every 4 to 6 months, water heavily from the top surface for several minutes to flush those minerals back down and out through the overflow drain. This keeps the soil chemistry in balance over the long term. To prevent algae from forming inside the fill pipe, keep a cap on it between waterings. A simple PVC cap or a piece of cloth secured over the opening blocks the light that algae needs to establish. This system suits a wide range of crops, but particularly benefits heavy feeders and plants that struggle with inconsistent moisture. Tomatoes perform exceptionally well because the steady water supply prevents the cycle of dry and wet that causes blossom end rot in fruit cracking. Leafy greens like spinach, kale, and lettuce stay productive longer because the roots are never stressed by drought. Carrots and other root crops appreciate the loose, consistently moist texture of the soil mix. Peppers, squash, and cucumbers all respond well to the stable conditions. Because the surface of the bed stays relatively dry, you can also plant shallow-rooted crops like lettuce in the upper few inches, while deeper-rooted plants like tomatoes send their roots down toward the reservoir. The two crops occupy different layers and draw moisture from different parts of the same bed. The Aztecs built this system because they understood something that is easy to overlook in a season with reliable rain. Water is not infinite. and the way most of us deliver it to our plants wastes most of it before it can do any good. A wicking bed does not eliminate the need for water. It just makes sure that every drop you put in actually reaches a root. In a dry summer, that difference is the margin between a productive garden and a failed one. The system is old, the materials are simple, and the physics have not changed in 500 years. Build it once, and your garden will handle drought the way the Aztecs did, quietly, steadily, and without interruption. If you want to see how this same principle builds a garden that waters itself for a decade, that video is right here.